The chamber doors slid open with a low hum, and a hush fell over the grand hall. Light from the crystalline ceiling washed across the floor in a soft silver glow. At the center stood an alien queen whose presence commanded respect. Her posture was calm, yet her eyes held a trace of disbelief as she looked toward the visitor being guided inside. The visitor was a human named Liam, and his quiet steps echoed through the hall. He felt the weight of countless alien gazes, watching him with cautious curiosity. He had been brought here after months of travel through regions unfamiliar to him, and now he stood before a queen who seemed uncertain whether he was a threat or a promise. Liam had never imagined arriving in a place like this. He had left his home without expecting to be pulled into a situation far beyond anything he had known. When he entered the hall, he kept his hands at his sides, trying to show that he meant no harm. 2 tall guards moved aside to let him approach the queen. Her attendants stood nearby, each dressed in robes that seemed woven from light. Liam could not tell if their expressions were hopeful or wary. The air felt thick, not from danger, but from something unspoken and ancient. The queen took a slow breath as she observed him. A ripple of whispers passed through the hall as she finally spoke. Her voice was soft, yet carried clearly. She said that legends had long spoken of a human whose arrival would shift the fate of her people. Liam stood still as her words settled over him. He felt unsure whether she was mistaken or whether destiny had brought him here. He had no idea what kind of myth she meant, and he wondered whether she expected him to perform some miracle he did not understand. The queen stepped closer, her wings folding neatly behind her. Her gaze was sharp, but not hostile, as though she was trying to see beyond the surface of who he was. She explained that her world had entered a troubled era. A strange energy had begun to spread across nearby star systems, causing disruptions in travel routes and weakening the protective field around her planet. Her scientists believed the energy had an origin far from their region of space, and that only a species with adaptable thinking could decipher its pattern. Liam listened carefully. He was no scientist, but he knew that humans had a talent for finding new answers when situations grew difficult. Still, he felt unprepared to be seen as someone from a prophecy. The queen added that according to ancient records, humans had once visited this part of the galaxy long before modern eras, leaving behind traces of unique knowledge. Her people had preserved the stories through generations. Liam felt a mix of fascination and doubt. He had grown up thinking humans were newcomers to the larger universe, not figures of legend on distant planets. He asked the queen to explain why she believed he was the one mentioned in the myth. She replied that when Liam's ship approached their world, their sensors had detected a resonance from him that matched the old records. Though Liam had no idea what such a resonance might be, he sensed sincerity in her words. The hall remained silent as the queen studied him with renewed focus. She placed a hand over a shimmering panel beside her throne, and an image materialized above it. The image displayed symbols that resembled constellations woven into complex patterns. Liam recognized none of it, yet he felt drawn to the shapes. The queen said the patterns were part of an ancient map recovered from ruins on a neighboring moon. Her scholars believed the map connected to the energy disturbance affecting their systems. However, they had struggled to interpret the final sections. According to the myth, a human would be able to read the missing links, not through knowledge, but through intuition. Liam hesitated. He did not want to pretend he understood something he did not. He admitted that the map meant nothing to him. The queen nodded and explained that intuition did not always require instant understanding. She asked him to simply observe the shapes and let his thoughts drift. Liam stepped closer to the floating image. He studied the patterns carefully. At first, he saw only random arrangements of stars, but as moments passed, he began noticing subtle repetitions. A line curved in the same way as another on the opposite side. A cluster echoed the shape of a formation he had seen during his travels. Slowly, an idea surfaced in his mind. He traced his finger through the air toward sections that seemed related. To his surprise, the symbols shifted in response, glowing brighter as if reacting to his presence. The Queen's attendants gasped. Softly, the Queen watched without blinking. Liam explained what he saw. He described how the map seemed to hint at a pathway hidden in plain sight. He outlined the pattern he believed connected the scattered pieces. As he spoke, the map reorganized. Itself, the hall brightened as the final shapes aligned into a coherent route. The Queen placed her hand over her chest in astonishment. Her attendants murmured among themselves. Liam took a step back, unsure of how he had done anything. The Queen thanked him with genuine relief. She said the map now revealed the origin of the energy disturbance, and that this knowledge was the first breakthrough her world had achieved in years. She invited Liam to accompany her to the command chamber, where the new information could be analyzed. Liam agreed, though he remained uncertain why he had been able to affect the map. As they walked through hallways illuminated by soft blue lights, the Queen spoke calmly about the years her people had spent searching for answers. She expressed gratitude that Liam had arrived when he did. Other worlds had closed their borders due to the disturbance. Trade routes had weakened. Her people feared that isolation would follow. Liam listened, feeling a growing sense of responsibility even though he had not sought a role in any prophecy. When they reached the command chamber, several experts awaited them. The room had broad panels displaying live readings from distant star systems. Liam stood beside the Queen as the experts fed the new map data into their systems. A large projection formed above the centerpiece table. It showed a swirling field of energy far beyond the Queen's planet. The data revealed that the disturbance was not natural. It was a byproduct of an experiment from an unknown origin. Liam asked whether the experiment posed danger to the Queen's world. One of the experts answered that the energy appeared stable for now, but its spread suggested it might eventually disrupt communication and travel in the entire region. The Queen turned to Liam and asked whether he felt anything else from the map. He closed his eyes and tried to recall the patterns. A faint memory surfaced, one from his early training days when he had seen a fragment of an old human navigation chart. He remembered how humans once designed adaptable star paths. He realized the ancient map used a similar system. He explained this to the Queen. She listened with interest. The experts compared the confirmed data and agreed that the map carried traces of ancient human influence. This suggested that humans had long ago explored this region far before current generations. The Queen looked thoughtful. She said the old stories claimed humans possessed a unique ability to bridge gaps between different systems of knowledge. Liam felt humbled. He had never considered himself special. Yet something about this situation felt strangely familiar, as if he had stepped into a place he was meant to reach. The Queen asked if he would assist her people in tracing the path. Shown by the map, though he felt nervous, he agreed. He could not ignore a world in need, especially one that held such trust in him. Over the next days, Liam worked alongside the Queen and her team. They analyzed the energy source and the map together. Liam found himself adapting quickly. The more he studied the patterns, the more he recognized links between human design principles and alien structures. He explained ideas that others had not considered. The Queen praised his clarity. Her people grew more confident as new theories emerged. Liam discovered that the energy disturbance responded to microadjustments similar to those used in early human star drives. He shared the idea that perhaps the disturbance needed tuning rather than containment. The experts tested his suggestion on a small scale. They deployed a remote probe to the edge of the energy field. The probe emitted a controlled signal based on Liam's idea. Moments later, the readings stabilized in a way they had not done before. The room erupted in hopeful murmurs. The Queen turned to Liam with a look of relief. She said that his perspective had opened a door no one else could unlock. Liam tried to stay modest, but he felt warmth in his chest. He realized he could help not through power, but through understanding and cooperation. The Queen called for a council meeting with representatives from nearby star systems. Liam stood beside her as she presented the new findings. The representatives listened intently. Some expressed doubt, but most showed gratitude. Liam spoke with honesty about how humans had a habit of finding solutions through simple reasoning. He emphasized that he was not a figure of magic, but someone willing to help. The council agreed to support the Queen's plan to stabilize the energy field using the new technique. Within weeks, coordinated probes were deployed across multiple systems. Each probe carried adjustments inspired by the map Liam had helped to unlock. The energy field began to settle. Communication routes reopened. Trade lanes resumed. Hope returned to regions that had feared long isolation. The Queen watched each update with growing joy. She publicly thanked Liam before her people. She said that the myth had spoken of a human who would